one other thing that I didn't talk about was if you see here, this is like a tempo indicator, and the cool thing is you've got a tap tempo up here, which actually you can reassign to another button, I believe. I still have the plastic on here. That's how gay I am. It's like I don't want it to get scratched or anything, but now that it's in the pedal board, I shouldn't be so anal about it, but I am. So yeah, and you can see it kind of changes the tempo there, so that's cool for tap tempo delays and all that stuff. Yeah, other than that, everything is pretty much as I described, and we'll go on to the Road King settings. Thanks again. And the one question that I get asked the most is how I'm connecting the G system, this pedal board in general, to the amp. Wireless, out, input, output of the G system to the input of my head. Then on the back of the amp there's an effects loop, send and receive, and those are basically going into the send receive on the G system. Channel 1, right now it's set to tweed, which is kind of a for lack of a better description, it's almost like a Fender. And you can really overdrive it pretty nicely, so it sounds really nice in that capacity. But the way that the settings that I have for that right now, I've got it set, the master set to right about here, right about 10 o'clock. Got the presence set to about 3, bass 11, mid straight up, treble 1 o'clock, gain 1 o'clock, and again these switches, which is clean, fat, or tweed, I have set to tweed. Channel 2, which is my main clean sound, I tweak it a little bit here and there, but the master's set a little past 12, presence is 12, bass is 10, mid is a little between 9 and 10, treble is 12 straight up, and gain is between 11 and 12 o'clock. And then I have it set to fat. The one thing that I've made reference to with the amp gizmo controlling the solo button here, or the solo level, the reason why I have to do that is that if I just use the normal output level, I can't ever get the levels of channel 3 and 4 to match without having to turn the master way down, which really affects the tone. And I've read other people having the same issue. So the way that I've found to kind of rectify that is to use, it's basically using the solo to boost the signal hotter than just the regular output, which is what these are using. So moving along to channel 3, got both 3 and 4 set to modern. Both of these are set identical with the exception to the gain, so I'll just go through one of them. My master is between 11 and 12. Presence is right at 9 o'clock. The bass is kind of right at 11 o'clock. Mid set between 9 and 10. Treble is set just below 9 o'clock, and gain is straight up 12 o'clock. Again, the only difference with channel 4 is the gain, which on this one I have set to right about 2 o'clock. You can get like super hairy if you want to turn up a little more, but I don't really like that fizzle kind of gain. I try to keep it kind of tight and chunky. So that's the settings on the front of the amp. Output wise, for this room, I've got it set right at 9 o'clock, a little lower than 9 o'clock for both the solo and the output. Okay, so here we are, back of the amp. The cool thing about this head is that you can have different speaker cabinets going out of each channel. So you have the choice of two. So you could have two separate. You could maybe have like 30 watts vintage Celestions for gain stuff, and maybe some higher wattage speakers for clean stuff to get a real pristine clean sound. And you can, on each channel, you have the option to choose speaker A, speaker B, or both A and B, which is really cool. Starting with channel 1, I don't use the loops, which you can patch in pedals. Of course, you've got reverb, which I don't use the reverb on the amp. I'm just not a big fan of that. You've got the recto tube tracking and then diode. On this particular channel, I've got it set to diode. And then also with your tube configurations, you've got all these choices: 2 6L6s, 2 EL34s, 2 6L6s, 2 EL34s, 4 6L6s, or 2 ELs and 4 6L6s, which is pretty much, I think, what I have it set to. Yeah, I've got it set to 2 EL34s and 4 6L6s. Channel 2, basically same setting, except I've got the recto tube tracking on. So that's really the only difference between 1 and 2. Channel 3, again, all these channels actually are set to 2 EL34s and 4 6L6s. Speaker A, no loops, tube tracking on, and channel 4 is identical. Here is real important. This is the level of the effects loop. I have it set straight up, which is, and on here it indicates that that's normal. You can set it a little higher, a little lower, based on how hot the device is in the effects loop. Again, got my labeled George L cables, return 1, send 1, which are going into the G system. These are all your external function switches that you can have, that you can use, I guess, for some other boxes, that aren't like the amp gizmo. We'll have, a 1/4-inch cable going from that box to here, and you turn them on and off using that. So you got channel 1, 2, 3, 4, your 2 loops, solo and reverb. The great thing about the amp gizmo is it utilizes the foot switch jack that's already here, so you don't have to mess with that. I guess the last thing, if you can see, it'll focus, which it may not. It says spongy in bold. This is basically a built-in kind of a variac almost. And basically, if I set it to spongy, it bumps the amp down to 50 watts. I like bold because I just like that headroom. Kind of gives me a little tighter low end. But if you really like high gain, spongy is kind of the way to go. I hope that is useful to you guys or anybody that cares. And that's about it.